Hello everybody, Nathan L. Jackson CPA here with another important update for you regarding the Paycheck Protection Program. Definitely take a listen to this video. Let me know if you have any questions. We are doing consultations for the PPP program right now. I got a team of people who are ready to assist you with your PPP questions, with questions about the employee retention credit, with questions about the EIDL advance. We're reading through all the guidance and getting all the information that we need to be able to assist you with those questions and with the loan applications and everything like that. So please reach out to us if you need any help. But for the time being, let's go through some important updates that happened over the night. So these all came out last night from the SBA. And so it clarifies a few things about the new PPP program in terms of the initial loans and also the second draw loans. If you already got an initial loan and used it, you can get a second loan. So just clarified a few things, and so I want to go through those with you today. If you like these videos, feel free to subscribe or like us on Facebook or YouTube or wherever you might be watching it so that you can see all the videos when we post more in the future, okay? So let's go ahead and go through a couple updates. So one really awesome update is they confirmed and clarified some things in regards to what we can use to qualify for the loans. So for the initial loan and also for the second draw loan, we can use either 2019 or 2020 to qualify you. So if 2020 was actually a little bit better than 2019, we can potentially use 2019 to qualify, or 2020 to qualify you instead of using 2019, and vice versa. If 2020 is worse, we can use 2019. That said, for the second draw loans, you do have to have a 25% reduction in any given quarter during the year. So there's possible that you could have your 2020 year that's better than 2019 and still have the one quarter where it was worse. So that is a possibility. So there are some ways that you could qualify for these loans, even if you had a better year in 2020. So just something to keep in mind. All right, so that's definitely an analysis that we will help you to complete and do if you sign up for one of our consultations though. The alternative cover period that was in the previous loans is not eligible anymore, so you have to choose a period between 8 and 24 weeks to qualify for forgiveness. So they went ahead and eliminated that for these new loans that are going to be taken out. If you had a PPP loan forgiven and they reduced the forgiveness for the EIDL advance, they are going to give the bank the difference for that amount and go ahead and cover that for you. So if you've already made any payments to your bank due to that rule, and you didn't wait to apply for forgiveness and you're kind of rushing to get it done and they require you to repay some of it, you will be able to go through and get that money back from the bank. So the SBA will send the money to the bank, and then the bank should refund you those payments that you made, okay? If the loan is below $2 million, you're going to be deemed to have made the good faith certification that due to the economic uncertainty, the loan is necessary. Okay, so that continues to be the case where if it's below $2 million, they're going to essentially deem you to be eligible for a PPP loan. So that's important for the initial loans. So if you never got an initial loan back when before the program ended back in August, you can still get an initial loan, but you want to get those done as soon as possible because money might run out on the initial loan part. Because there was a lot of people who didn't get it because they didn't like the program rules and there was a lot of uncertainty. Now that we have a lot of clarity on what's required and what the benefits are, for example, not having to worry about federal taxes, you might still have to worry about some state taxes depending on what state you live in, but you definitely don't have to worry about federal taxes. So definitely something that you want to consider and think about if you never got an initial loan, okay? And you think you qualify for one. If you returned the funds from the initial PPP loan due to certification or other reasons, in a lot of the back and forth that was happening, then you can actually go back and ask for either more money if you took less money, or you can ask for the full amount that you were eligible for if you didn't actually take the full amount and you returned it. Okay, so it's some good updates in this video here. If you did not include partner earnings in your original loan, because they changed that rule after a lot of partners had already applied for the loans, you can actually go back and request more money to include your partner earnings in that as well. Okay, public companies are not eligible for initial or second loans anymore. So if you're a publicly traded company, you're not going to be eligible to get either an initial loan or a second loan. All right. Gross receipts includes all revenue from whatever source. So when you're looking at the 25% reduction for second draw loans, so there is a 25% reduction for second draw loans. They define gross receipts as this. Okay, so you have to have a 25% reduction in gross receipts. It's going to include all revenue from whatever source, including sales of products or services, interest, dividends, rents, royalties, fees, commissions, and it's reduced by returns and allowances. Okay, it does not include capital gains or losses or sales tax that is collected and remitted on behalf of a governmental agency. So like your local sales tax for the state, city, county, that kind of thing. Okay, and it also excludes any PPP forgiveness that was already obtained during 2020. Okay, so you exclude all those items from there. Now, it appears to include, as of right now, any EIDL advance that you received. So if you received an EIDL advance, remember those are not taxable, but they're also they could be considered income for purposes of this analysis. So I would err on the side of caution and just go ahead and include those in there just to be safe. Until they give us actually confirmed guidance that it's not included. So let's go ahead and include those in there. But that's what the definition of gross receipts is. So we got a lot of clarity on what gross receipts is basically. Essentially what it comes down to is if you look at your tax return and whatever it shows up there for gross receipts on the top of your tax return before you go to cost of goods sold, that's probably what the number is going to be. So for either 2019 or 2020, okay? If you permanently close your business, you are not eligible to get an initial or second PPP loan. So even though you were in business back in 2019 or earlier in 2020, if you ultimately permanently close your business during 2020, then you are not eligible to go get a loan, okay? Because in essence, you have no payroll that you're going to be able to use the loan for. So it makes sense. You wouldn't qualify for any forgiveness. If your second PPP loan is more than $150,000, you will need to submit proof of the 25% reduction in gross receipts with your application. If it's under that, you don't have to submit it with the application, but you will have to submit it by the time you apply for forgiveness. Okay? So that's actually a positive because there's definitely some people who may not have all their books updated fully, completely right now, and some other things, and so it would be good to give you a little bit of extra time to figure that out. But if you're confident that you have that reduction, you don't have to submit it with the application. I would just caution you though, to try and get your books figured out and updated to just make sure that you actually qualify, because if you ultimately don't qualify and you get the loan, then you're going to have to basically pay it all back. Okay? So if your business was in operation for all of 2019, you must use the same quarter in 2020 to qualify. Meaning you compare Q1 2020 to Q1 2019, you compare Q3 2020 to Q3 2019 to determine if you had a 25% reduction in gross receipts. Okay? If it was not in operation during Q1 or Q2 of 2019, then you can use any quarter in 2020 and compare it to one of the quarters in 2019 that you were operating, and you will be eligible to get it if there's a 25% reduction from that perspective. Okay. Same thing if you were not in operation during Q1, Q2, or Q3, you can basically use any quarter during 2020 and compare it to that Q4 2019 quarter, and as long as you have a reduction of 25% in one of those quarters, then you would qualify. Okay. So, and then if you were not in operation at all during 2019, but you were in operation by February 15th of 2020, okay, because again, you have to be in operation by February 15th of 2020 to qualify for the PPP loan. So if you were in operation by then you basically take Q2 or Q3 or Q4 and compare it to Q1 in order to qualify for a second PPP loan with the 25% reduction. Okay. And another clarification they gave is you have to use your gross receipts from affiliates as well when you're doing this assessment. So if you had one business, for example, that blew it out of the water, and you had another business that didn't do so well, because of the affiliate rules, you likely will not be eligible for a PPP loan. Those are going to be on a case-by-case basis, and we're going to have to kind of go through the rules with you to figure out if you qualify or not. So I'm not going to go into a whole lot of details on that because it can get a little tricky. But if you have multiple businesses and you had one business that really struggled and another business that didn't struggle so much, it might prohibit you from getting a second PPP loan. Okay, so that's essentially the update for today. Those are the key things that change. I definitely recommend that you look at my previous video on the PPP loan criteria and application process, because a lot of those items have not changed in terms of how you calculate the amount, in terms of what payroll costs are included in there, in terms of things that you have to exclude from the payroll costs. So those are all still very applicable. And so I would definitely look at my previous video on the PPP application process. Those are all still relevant. There hasn't really been much of a change from that initial video, so I'm not going to rehash all of it on this one. I just wanted to give you the updates that are coming from this new bill that was passed, and the ability to go ahead and get either an initial loan or a second loan. They have not announced when the application process will go live yet. As soon as I know that, I will definitely let everybody know. But ultimately, we don't know exactly when that will be yet. So hang in there. I do still recommend that you get things rolling though. You want to be ready to rock and roll as soon as it goes live. So we are working on applications. We are preparing the applications so that when it does go live, all we have to do is basically get you to sign some paperwork and submit a button. Okay, and it'd be really easy to go through and get everything done for you. So I definitely would not wait. Let's go ahead and sign up for a consultation if you think you qualify. Sign up for a consultation so that we can do the math for you, make sure you do qualify, and then look at other options as well. So the consultation doesn't only concern PPP, we're also doing the employee retention credit, we're doing the EIDL advance, we're helping you kind of figure out all those items to figure out if you qualify for all of those. So it's definitely something where you want to reach out to us, get something scheduled so that we can help you get some funding for your business and hopefully help you to get through the remaining portion of this pandemic. Hopefully we're on our way to the other end of this, but things are still looking a little bleak out there, so we'll see. Anyways, that's it for now. Hope everybody hangs in there, and we'll talk to you soon. All right, have a good one.